So ready to toss those China markers and take your facility management digital. We hear you. You're checking out Matterport, right?
Yeah.
And wondering if it can really step up your game, especially when it comes to using live data and IoT.
Well, what's really interesting here isn't just Matterport by itself. It's how they're combining it with solutions from SIMLAB and NetxAutomation.
Yeah, they're building a whole customized system.
Exactly, a seriously powerful facility management system.
Before we get into how it all works, though, I think that case study they use, ABC Global, is really helpful.
Yeah, they're like a perfect example of what this tech can do.
They sound a lot like what you're describing. Offered as hotels, rental properties.
A whole 9 yards.
Exactly. So as we're talking about the problems this solves, think about how those same headaches are popping up in your world.
And they start with a problem I think a lot of us are familiar with. Think about all those HVAC units you've got scattered around your properties.
Oh, I didn't want to think about it.
If all your maintenance records are like on these faded China markers or spreadsheets all over the place,
Oh, tell me about it.
you're not alone.
Talk about a recipe for disaster.
Right.
So how does Simon, this software from SimLab, actually tackle this? They keep talking about sensor data in Matterport, but how does that even work?
So it's more than just like throwing data onto a 3D model.
Right.
SimLab's Simon works directly with your building management system.
Your BMS.
Yeah, through NetxAutomation. And this is really key because buildings, they're like these giant puzzles.
Totally.
Each system, HVAC, lighting, security, they've all got their own language.
Yeah.
And NetX, it's like this universal translator. It uses these things called APIs and data exchange formats to make sure information flows smoothly.
Okay, so no more needing a whole team to decode what's going on in your own buildings.
Yeah.
But hold on, back up for a second. What are APIs and data exchange formats?
Sure.
Why should I care?
Okay, so imagine an API as kind of like a messenger. It lets different software applications talk to each other. Data exchange formats are like standardized languages that they use so they can understand each other.
Got it.
What this means is that Simon can grab real-time data from all those different building systems and show it right there in your Matterport model.
Interesting.
So instead of just seeing your building in 3D, you're seeing its temperature, how much energy it's using, even if a fire alarm is going off, all updated live.
Now that's what I call a smart building.
Right.
But, I mean, we've all seen dashboards before. What makes this different?
It's all about context.
Yeah.
Imagine you're looking at your Matterport model and you see an HVAC unit and it's showing that the temperature's spiking.
Okay.
With Simon, you just click on it and instantly you can see its entire maintenance history, all the manuals, everything without having to dig through file cabinets.
Wow.
You know, they gave that example with ABC Global's light bulbs. Imagine just clicking on one and you instantly know how many need replacing in your entire portfolio.
That's incredible.
No more manual counting.
Okay, that's really slick. But beyond finding information faster, how does this actually save me time and money?
Well, think about it. If you know a piece of equipment is about to break down because of that sensor data, you can fix it before it causes any costly downtime.
Oh, that's huge.
That's what we call proactive maintenance.
Right.
It's way more efficient than waiting till something breaks.
And presumably a lot less stressful than that whole, oh no, the AC's out again, scramble.
Exactly.
But let's get specific. How does Simon actually help you implement this proactive approach?
So Simon lets you set up a system to schedule and keep track of all your maintenance tasks. No more relying on sticky notes or hoping somebody remembered to check the boiler pressure.
Right.
It's all right there, tied to your digital twin, and anyone who needs it can see it.
So no more, like, surprise floods because someone forgot to schedule a pipe inspection.
Right.
That's gotta be a relief.
Yeah.
But what happens when something does go wrong? How does this system help you actually fix things faster?
Well, remember that leaky water heater they talked about with ABC Global? Let's say a housekeeper finds it. With Simon, they can just take a picture right there, tag the exact spot in the Matterport model, and boom, send a ticket straight to the maintenance team.
Wow.
Everything's documented, you can track it, and nobody's wasting time trying to explain where that one pipe near the thing is.
It's like a direct line from the problem to the solution,
Yeah.
all in that digital twin.
Yeah.
I can see how that would change the game for communication,
Yeah,
especially for a portfolio as big as ABC Global's.
exactly. And it's not even just about speed. All that data, the ticket history, the sensor readings from before the leak, it's all logged.
Interesting.
So over time, you're building this incredibly detailed picture of your buildings, like health. You can see patterns. You can get ahead of problems. Maybe you'll even see that a certain type of pipe is, prone to leaking in your older properties.
It's almost like the data starts to pay for itself, not just in preventing these disasters, but in giving you these insights so you can make better decisions down the line. Speaking of making good decisions, one thing I thought was interesting was ABC Global's goal to lessen their impact on the environment. How does a system like this factor into that?
It's more related than you might think.
Okay.
We talked about proactive maintenance, making your equipment last longer.
Right.
That naturally means less waste.
Right.
But the real game changer is those data insights. Let's say you notice from the sensor data that everyone's gone from a certain floor during, specific times.
Okay.
You can change the HVAC schedule, right? You'd be saving energy without anyone even noticing.
That makes sense. Like fine-tuning a machine, only the machine is a whole building.
Exactly.
I bet that kind of control could lead to some serious energy savings.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially for a company with a lot of real estate like that.
Absolutely. And remember how we were talking about not having to go on site as much? That's huge for sustainability, too. If you can fix something remotely using your digital twin, that's one less car on the road.
Right. Less emissions.
Exactly.
It's crazy how fast those small things add up.
Yeah.
All this tech can feel kind of overwhelming, though.
Yeah.
Let's switch gears for a minute and talk about what it actually takes to implement this stuff.
Okay.
The episode mentioned system integrators. What's their role in all of this?
So system integrators, they're like your partners in all of this.
Okay.
They help you figure out the best way to fit this technology into how you already do things.
Right.
They look at your systems, find the right solutions for what you need, and make sure the change goes smoothly.
Got it.
Think of them like the architects of your new facility management setup.
So they're the ones making sure all the pieces actually work together.
Exactly.
But this isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of thing, right?
Oh, no, definitely not. Every building, every portfolio, it's all different. What's great about this approach is how flexible it is.
Yeah.
Simon and NetX can handle a single building or a huge global company like ABC Global.
Wow.
It's about picking the right tools and integrations for your specific goals and the challenges you're facing.
That makes sense. What about the people, though? We're talking about some big changes here. How do you get your team on board with a new technology like this?
That's a really important point. Technology is only as good as the people using it, right?
Right.
You've got to include your team from the beginning, talk about what they're concerned about, show them how this will actually make their jobs easier, better.
Right.
Training and having support available, those are super important for a smooth transition. You want everyone to feel good about using it.
So don't just kind of throw the tech at them and expect them to figure it out. You've got to bring them along for the ride.
Exactly. And remember, this isn't about replacing people with technology. It's about giving them the tools and the information they need to be even better at their jobs.
It's like giving those old school facility managers like a high-tech makeover.
Right.
But I've got to ask, where do you see this going next? What's coming up in facility management tech?
Well, actually, they touched on this a bit in the episode.
Right.
And it's pretty wild. SimLab, they're already working on bringing artificial intelligence, AI, into Simon.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Think about it. You're looking at your digital twin,
Okay.
and the AI, it flags a potential problem with an HVAC unit before it even shows up in the sensor data.
Wow.
It's like predicting problems before they even happen.
Oh, that is next level. It's like having a crystal ball for your building. But AI, that feels like a whole other thing. How does that actually work, in this kind of setting?
It all comes back to the data.
Okay.
The more data Simon gets from sensors, maintenance logs, even weather patterns,
Right.
the smarter the AI gets at seeing patterns and predicting those issues.
Got it.
It's like having this invisible expert constantly checking your building, giving you a heads up if something seems off.
So it's not just about having data, it's about using it to your advantage.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. But, with all this talk about AI and sensors, it's easy to lose sight of what's important, the people. How do you see this tech changing the everyday for facility managers and their teams?
I think it could be really empowering, honestly. Instead of always putting out fires, reactive maintenance and all that admin stuff,
Right.
facility managers can use this tech to really become strategic decision makers.
Yeah.
They'll have all the data they need to make the building run better, be more sustainable, just make it a better experience for everyone.
It's like they're shifting from being firefighters to architects.
Exactly.
I like that.
And for their teams, it means they've got the info they need right when they need it.
Right.
No more wasting time searching for stuff, trying to explain complicated things. It's about making things flow better, communication, everything. Just making everyone's jobs, I don't know, easier, maybe even more fulfilling.
So it's not just about the tech for the sake of tech. It's about how it can create a better way of doing things in facility management. More efficient, sustainable, and more focused on the people involved. I think that's something everyone can get behind.
Absolutely. And I think that's really the big takeaway here. This isn't about having the newest gadgets. It's about how to use tech to build a better future for our buildings and the people who use them.
Well said. We've covered a lot in this deep dive. From those old China markers to AI, hopefully you listening out there have a better sense of how Matterport, Simon, and NetX are all coming together to totally change the world of facility management.
Yeah, it's a really interesting time to be in this industry, that's for sure. And hey, who knows, maybe this got you thinking about how you could start using some of this tech too.
And if you're still holding on to those China markers, maybe it's time for a proper goodbye.
Right.
They've served their purpose. But the future is, digital, integrated, and ready to be explored. So until next time, keep asking those questions, keep innovating, and don't be afraid to push the limits of what's possible in facility management.
Absolutely.
And just maybe your buildings will thank you for it.